Okay, let's continue our conversation about solving equations. Now I'm going to go through these now. You know how to check them if you need to, but I want to go through these to make sure you understand how to solve them. So in problems, look for things like 4y minus 3y, something I can actually solve. So if I take 4y and take away 3y, I'm left with 1y. Now my job is to do everything I can to get this by itself. So if I want to get rid of this, instead of subtracting 2, I would add 2. Gives me 8. Now, you don't have to divide by 1 to get rid of this one. I assume there's a 1 whether I write it or not. So that's going to be my final answer. Now in this one, you can see the letters come second, so I would probably go through and switch it so the opposite sides of the equal sign are changed. The variable comes first. So these two first. 6x minus 5x is 1x. Then to get this by itself, instead of adding 1, I would subtract 1. And again, I assume there's a 1 in front whether I write it or not. So this is going to be my final answer. Okay. In this one, these two are ones that are out in front, and it would be much easier if I put those together. So negative 3 and 7 together would give me positive 4. And over here, I could get those down to one number. So negative 1 plus 4 is 3. Then I would go through and subtract 4. And get x equals negative. Okay, now, in this one, the letter comes second, so I would probably change that just to flip them around. And then I would simplify this. Okay, I know that inside here 8 minus 10 is going to be negative 2. And if I do 2 times negative 2, it's going to be negative 4. And then I would bring the rest of the problem down. To get x by itself, I'd have to get rid of minus 7, which means I would add 7 to both sides. So I'm going to end up with 3. Okay, fill in the blank that gives the number the desired result. So what could I do to 6x? So if I divided it by something, I would end up with x. So if you notice, the 6 is gone. So if I made this a 6, that would make that happen. On this one, 3 times something gives me 57. So if I want to figure out what that is, the opposite of multiplying by 3 would be dividing by 3. So if I go through and take 57 and divide it by 3, I would end up with 19. Okay, now, same kind of idea. 9 times something gives me negative 36. So I'm going to divide both sides by 9. Let's cancel. So I have x equals negative 4. On this one, I have to get rid of a negative 9. So if I divide it by negative 9, the 9 and the negative cancel. You're left with negative 7. On this one, I divide by negative 24. 24s and the negatives cancel. I end up with positive 5. Because these two negatives make a positive, and it's 120 divided by 24. Okay, on this side, go ahead and get all of your stuff together on this one side before you deal with this. So this 4 and 5 I can put together. Those multiplied together would give me 20. So 20x equals 60. Then go through and divide both sides by 20. So x equals 3. On this one, I would probably flip it around so the letter comes first. These two together, if I put them together, would give me negative 78. Divide both sides by 13. And a equals -6. Okay, these two together would give me 12x. Divide both sides by 12. End up with -16. Okay, now, some of these that you're going to see in this section are going to be an issue because you don't have a picture. So if it helps you to make some kind of a sketch of a picture over here to label, then do it. Okay? It says that the length is 18 feet, the width is 13 feet. So first of all, it says state the appropriate formula for perimeter. So the formula for perimeter with a rectangle happens to be 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. Because I have 2 lengths and 2 widths that are added together. Now, if I wanted to find the perimeter, I could actually plug those in. My length would be 18, and my width would be 13. So if I go through and plug those in, so 2 times 18 plus 2 times 13 is going to give you 62. So the perimeter is going to be 62 feet. Now you're going to see this formula again, I guarantee you. Big deal for them. Okay, now, if I'm going to do this and now they're going to give me a square, how many sides are 8 centimeters? So if I'm doing the perimeter for this, I would have 4 sides that would all be the same. So probably they'll give you an S for sides. If not, you can use an X or whatever they give you. To find the perimeter, I would take the side length of 8 and put it in where the S is at. So that's going to give you 32 centimeters. Okay, now this is one where they're going to add a little bit to the problem. It says find the length and width of a rectangle if the perimeter is 16 feet. So you know it's 16. And it says that the length is 3 times the width. So if I don't know the width, let's make this X. And then the length is 3 times that, so that's going to be 3x. And I know this would have to also be 3x, and this would have to be x. So I know I have 3x and 3x, and x when I add them together. Add 1s in front of those just so I know what they are. And then 16. So these added together would be 8x divided by 8. Get x equals 2. Now that means that the width has to be 2 feet. If I was going to do the length now, it would be 3 times whatever the width was. So it's going to have to be 6 feet. Okay, now there's going to be some discussion about exponents in here. You need to know really that this is z to the 4th because there are 4 of them. So this and this are exactly the same. This is 7 of them. And that's the same. So really that means that there are 11 z's altogether. Same for this one. So when you're doing these problems that look like this, if there's a multiplication, you're going to have to add the exponents if the bases are alike. Now, in this one, the bases aren't alike. The base here is 5, and this one is 3. So the most that you can do if you have to write it in exponential form is to write it like that. Okay, now, this is a perfect example. Y is matching. I'm going to take these and add them all together. So 7 and 2 would be 9, plus 5 would be 14, so it would be y to the 14th. This one starts sorting your stuff. So the 5 and the 4 are kind of numbers in front, and then I have these. So these two together would be 20. These two you would have to add together to get 5. So it would be 20y to the 5th. Okay, and this one, again, take them and sort them. So 3, 8, and 2 in front. I have an a to the 4th, and a to the 7th. If something does not have an exponent like that, a does not have an exponent. If it doesn't have an exponent, then I'm going to add a 1 there. So first of all, if I take those and multiply them together, 3 times 8 times 2 would be 48. For the a's, I'm going to have to add up all of these. So 1 plus 4 plus 7 is going to be 12. Okay, now this one just says identify each thing as a mononomial, binomial, or trinomial. Trinomial means it has 3 terms. Binomial means that it has 2 terms. Mononomial means that there is 1 term. Now that means if you can put stuff together, you have to condense it and simplify it first. So this has 2 things that can't be put together any more than they are. So it has 2 terms, so it's binomial. The next one has 1 term, so that's mononomial. Third one has 3 terms, so it is a trinomial. So that's just about naming. Okay. This is the last little bit for this week. These 2. So first of all, this is going to be a distributive property, so I have to distribute this to both sides. So 2x times x squared plus 2x times 7. So this part's kind of easy. The 2 and the 7 together will give you 14. On this one, a 2 is out in the front. Assume there's a 1 there. So I'm going to add those exponents. So x to the 3rd. Now on this one, this is written second. That really bothers people. So if it helps you to kind of do this, then do that. And then you're going through and you're going to distribute those. So 3x to the 3rd times 8x to the 5th minus 3x to the 3rd times 7x. So the numbers 3 and 8 are going to give you 24. If I add these 2 together, it's going to be 8. Now here, 3 and 7 would be 21. Before you put the x's together, remember there's a 1 there. So when you add them, it's going to be to the 4th power. And that's going to be the final